Massacre Girl versus Sedris the Traitor King, Talrand the Sky Summoner, and Ravos Soultender partnered with Tana the Bloodsower. Okay, how are we doing there? I forgot to change out that land. This is supposed to be the land that gives everyone spirits when we tap it down. Yeah, I suppose we'll keep that. I'm not really a huge fan of that, but we can get into more swamps with Liliana of the Dark Realms. So I don't want to mulligan that and end up with no lands in hand. Okay, shout out to Olardell, the Talrand Sky Summoner player. They are a fan of the channel, so hopefully they're watching this if it turns out to be a good game, and that's a big if. Yeah, I mentioned this in a previous game and I completely forgot about it. The Exotic Orchard is supposed to be the land that taps for any coloured mana and gives everyone a spirit. And for some reason I've accidentally put this in it. The artwork maybe looks similar. Yeah, just looking at it now, I think what I've done is typed in Orchard into the search bar, and I've put in the Exotic Orchard instead of the Forbidden Orchard. So that's a mistake on my part. Anyway, let's go over the commanders. Sedris the Traitor King is a 6-mana Grixis commander. A 5/5, each creature in your graveyard has Unearth for 3. That means that they come back from the graveyard to the battlefield, they gain haste and are exiled at the end step. Talrand the Sky Summoner is a 4-mana mono blue 2/2. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you get a 2/2 Flying Drake. Ravos Soultender is a 5-mana 2/2 Orzhov commander that has flying, it's got a tied-in anthem, and at the beginning of your upkeep you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. It is our turn, so let's go in for our second swamp, and we'll just pass like that. Ravos is partnered with Tana the Bloodsower. That is a 4-mana Gruul commander, a 2/2 with trample. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create that many Saproling 1/1 creature tokens. Those 1/1 Saproling tokens sound nice with a Massacre Girl, 5 mana for a 4/4 with Menace. When she enters the battlefield, each other creature gets -1/-1 until the end of the turn. Whenever a creature dies this turn, each creature other than Massacre Girl gets -1/-1 until the end of turn. So when she enters, she typically kills everything as long as there's a lot of 1/2 toughness creatures in play, which is likely against a Talrand and a Tana opponent. Okay, it's back round to our turn already. We can just keep slow rolling this out, I think. Oh, and I've just noticed actually this Tana and Ravos player has not been playing any lands during all that. Okay, they kept a no land hand. Anyway, Sedris has got down a Mox Diamond and a Toshiro Umizawa. That's a 2/2 with Bushido 1. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you may cast an instant from your graveyard, and it's exiled instead of going back into the graveyard. Rhystic Study for Talrand, and let's see if the partner player can actually get into a land. I played a few games previous to this, and people just scoop really early. Yeah, smartest kid on earth, the partner player, is playing 39 lands and apparently didn't have any opening hands with lands in them and continues to not draw into them. I did put in the comments that there should be no scooping in the early game, so the partner player is holding true to their word on that. Let's go for a Liliana of the Dark Realms. It's going to get hit by the Bushido creature, and we're not going to be able to put mana into the Rhystic Study, which is a big no-no for me, but no one's really doing anything, so I want to get this game underway. Now what we could do is kill that Bushido creature, actually. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. Oh no, it's -3, not -2. Okay, scratch that. Instead, we'll just go for a swamp out of our library, and we'll pass like that. Yeah, the partner player is already looking to scoop early. That's, it seems as though getting 4 players together for a game of Commander is an impossibility. Frantic Search and 1 mana into Rhystic Study. That's exactly what you're supposed to do when there's a study in play. Noteworthy, by the way, that the Human Samurai did not come in at Liliana. But down comes Talrand the Sky Summoner. Now then, everyone, cheer along and try and get partner player a land. Nope, still don't have one. Okay, I quite like the idea of getting into Liliana's emblem, so let's plus her up, get ourselves another snow-covered swamp, and then an early game Toxic Deluge is good, I think. We'll pay 2 life into that, and then put 1 mana into the study. And we'll see if Sedris has any counter magic. They do not. So we'll just drop this Skull Clamp and give the Talrand player another card draw. And the partner commander has decided to call it a day. Yep, the search for a full 4-player commander game continues. Okay, there's an adaptive automaton, so they are definitely looking to get down an army of Drake tokens, as you would expect in a Talrand deck. I'm hoping that we can get down Liliana's emblem next turn. Yeah, so let's go for Liliana Dreadhorde General. They might have counter magic held up. In fact, they probably do in a Talrand deck. But I'm playing this because I want to try and get the zombie into play. We could have them sack the adaptive automaton. Yeah, the problem is they could bounce the token. Let's just search for a swamp here with that. I'd really like next turn to get the emblem off with this, and that will make all our swamps tap for 4 mana. That will be the end of our mana concerns this game. Let's just try our luck and throw out a zombie token. And it's one of the zombie tokens from War of the Spark, as you would expect. That's a really good token. Yeah, our aim here is to block the adaptive automaton with the zombie if it swings in at one of our planeswalkers. But the problem is, with 2 mana held up, they might have a bounce spell to get the zombie out of the way. No, and anyway, the Hero's Downfall from the Grixis player kills off the Dark Realms anyway. Gets a Hero's Downfall out of the hand at least. And then a Wheel of Fortune for everybody. That's unfortunate, getting rid of our Rise of the Dark Realms. Yep, they went for a counter spell on the Wheel of Fortune. Seems as though the Drake player likes the cards in their hand. Getting down a Talrand the Sky Summoner again. I think we might have to minus Liliana down to get rid of these two. Okay, that is going in at the Sedris player. Okay, Cabal Stronghold we can start making use of, can't we? Oh no, it's not 2 mana to activate it, is it? It's 3 mana, so that's actually not as good. At least we're not going down any mana. Let's go for a clamp onto the zombie first of all. And then I'm going to swing into Sedris because he's wide open. And then we'll tick down Liliana and get rid of the Talrand and the adaptive automaton. And we're going to draw a bunch of cards here. Whenever a creature we control dies, we draw a card with Liliana. Plus the 2 cards from the Skull Clamp. Let's kill off that thing. Gets rid of graveyards, doesn't it? So we'll kill that thing off. Don't want graveyards being exiled. Yes, we'll put a mana into the Rhystic Study. And then I think we just go for Endrick Sar here. And unfortunately have to give our opponent another card draw with that Rhystic Study. Not likely that the study's going anywhere this game because a mono black and a Grixis player aren't likely to get rid of that. But with Endrick Sar next turn we can start getting lots of good card draw with the Skull Clamp. And the Liliana actually. Whenever we clamp one of the Thrall tokens we'll get a card draw from Liliana and 2 from Skull Clamp. But there is a foil. Discard an island rather than pay its mana cost to counter a spell. So no Endrick Sar shenanigans for us unfortunately. Sedris comes down and puts another 1 mana into the Rhystic Study, as they should. And that will have Perforos, deal 2 damage to each of us. Let's see if they've got any decent creatures in the graveyard. They've got the Toshiro Umizawa, and that's all they've got actually. There's a favourable winds, that's an anthem for flyers. Alright, we get into another land. Let's see here. We'll create a token first of all. And it's 5 mana from the Cabal Stronghold. And that gets us a Zulaport Cutthroat. Mana goes into Rhystic Study. Then we clamp the zombie. And then it's Fleshbag Marauder, and we are going to kill our zombie token. And yet again we draw 3 cards thanks to our Planeswalker and Skull Clamp. Got plenty of lands to play now. I actually think I'm going to go for a clamp on the Fleshbag Marauder, because I'm not liking that hand very much. Okay, Gauntlet of Power is great to get into next turn. We just discard a bunch of swamps here, I think. And Sedris, unfortunately, just having to pass the turn. They've only got 2 cards in hand and nothing else to do, seemingly. And the last thing we want to see is Talrand just passing the turn. But it looks like that's what's happening. Ugh, that's not good. Okay, let's get down a swamp. We'll go for a Liliana. And then let's try and get some counter magic out of our opponent's hand. If they don't counter that, I don't imagine they have counters in hand. Yep, they have an Unwind, which is kind of a free counter spell. And let's go for a Falconwrath Noble. And that's another free counter spell out of our opponent's hand. They're down to 3 cards in hand. Let's just clamp the zombie. And we can pass over to our opponent. Okay, a Scryland for the Sedris opponent. Hopefully they can sort out a draw for next turn. They still don't have double black on their lands. Luckily they have a Mox Diamond on the field. We'll go for a Liliana before we do anything else. And let's see if we can get a Necropotence to stick. I don't mind if our opponent counters that. And it seems like the kind of spell that our opponent would want to counter. Yep, they go for a negate on that. We'll try an Expedition Map, which will go for Cabal Coffers. We managed to stick that, so let's go and crack that. We'll find the Cabal Coffers and play it. Yeah, we've only got 6 mana there, so in that case, let's just go in at the mono blue player. And we'll see if the Grixis player has any more luck. Okay, down comes a Cryptghast. They only have 1 swamp in play, so unless we get an Urborg down, we don't really need to worry about that Cryptghast. But I would like to kill that off and get it back with Rise of the Dark Realms. That would be really good for us. Out comes a Kindred Discovery. So that's going to be really good if they start getting down a bunch of Drakes. Yeah, let's try and work this out. Soul Ring into Cabal Coffers gets us 6 mana. Then we go down a mana for untapping it with Deserted Temple, puts us at 5 mana. Then these 2 go into Cabal Coffers, that's 6 mana, which is 11. 17 mana I put us at this turn. Let's get another zombie token. Then it's Cabal Coffers. Deserted Temple untaps the Cabal Coffers. We go in for a Blood Artist, pay the Rhystic Study, and then let's just go in at our opponent with a couple of zombies. I imagine they don't block here, so let's just clamp the Summoning 6 zombie and pass it back over. I'd really like to get a Cryptghast off of the Rise of the Dark Realms, but there's no guarantee that we will actually resolve a Dark Realms, unfortunately. Yeah, they're still not getting into black mana. But they managed to get their commander back down and pay for the study tax. Our Grixis player has been really good at that. And they drain us with the Extort from Cryptghast as well. And then a creature has entered, so Perforos will shock us. And not swinging in with Cryptghast, as you might expect. It seems to be these 2 players against us because we have been the most threatening this game, to be fair. Ooh, a Murmuring Mystic. I wouldn't mind getting hold of one of those. Yeah, I might try my hand at a Damnation next turn and see if it gets countered. They only have 2 cards left in hand. Okay, Bajuka Bog. Who has the scariest graveyard? Well, there's only that for Sedris to get back. Yeah, I think I'd rather go for the blue player. Although I would quite like that adaptive automaton to name zombies with. Let's swing in first. Okay, they are going in to block the skull-clamped zombie, which you won't find me complaining over. Again, that's 3 cards we're drawing with that. And if we're planning on wiping the board anyway, then... Okay, they go for our Cabal Coffers. So they only have 2 mana held up now. Luckily, we can get into a land with Ghost Quarter. Cabal Stronghold is a worse Cabal Coffers, but it's better than having no effect of that kind. Get a couple of Aristocrat effects here. Oh, Ophiomancer is really good with Skull Clamp, and we get a few more snow-covered swamps. Yeah, I think we're just going for a swamp now to make this Cabal Stronghold better. That's 8 mana there. And then we untap like that. Skull Clamp a zombie. And I'm not going to clamp the Aristocrats because there's no guarantee that this damnation is going to work. I don't mind if it gets countered. Okay, so all we've managed to do there is draw a bunch of cards and get a bunch of Aristocrat effects on the go. Alright, an Urborg would have been really good with the Cabal Coffers, but unfortunately I'm not going to be able to get into that. Let's dump some more mana into Cabal Stronghold. We'll go extra planar lens. And this is exactly why we have the snow-covered swamps in the deck. Now each snow-covered swamp on the field is going to tap for 2 mana. Let's not forget to play a zombie. We'll go for Haunt of Hightower. Put a mana into that. We'll put the clamp on the Hightower. Go for Ophiomancer with a mana put into the Rhystic Study again. And then why not get down a Phyrexian Arena for 4 mana. And that way we can just tap out and not discard any cards. Oh, and unfortunately Sedris is having to pass the turn again, and the blue player has tapped out for a Caged Sun. They might have a free counterspell in hand, but I think we can just do whatever we feel like here. Yeah, that's just more lands for us. Let's go for the snow-covered swamp, because Cabal Stronghold cares about basic swamps. We tick up Liliana for another zombie card. And we can actually get the limit break off next turn. She's been really, really good this game. Alright, let's swing in before we do anything else. I'm worried about a Cyclonic Rift from over here. But we can't take them out this turn anyway, so I think we're going to go in at the mono blue player because they've got a lot of mana coming down next turn. Let's have them discard one of their 2 cards to the Haunt of Hightower. Oh, and actually, now that I'm looking at it, if we'd been able to deal some damage to the Sedris player, we might have been able to take them both out with Exsanguinate, yeah. Yeah, I've only just seen that. Okay, so let's try and get down... How much mana can we generate? That's 8 from the Cabal Stronghold. And then we untap it, put 3 mana back into it. That's 12, 20... Yeah, so that means we can do 18 with an Exsanguinate. I think we just go for Rise of the Dark Realms here. And we managed to stick it. That is Zombie. I'm guessing that's from the... Yeah, that's the Adaptive Automaton. And then we will sacrifice a tapped zombie. No, we won't. We'll sacrifice a snake because we'll get that back during our next turn. And then we'll get some Aristocrat effects, which will get rid of the blue player. And there we go, that's the blue player down. Okay, we might as well get down the Grave Pact. It's good that we don't have to play around that Rhystic Study anymore. Oh, and we get double mana from the Crypt Ghast. I didn't think of that, so we can pay the Extort. And then we'll get down the Oblivion Stone as well. And we'll say yes to the Extort on that also. Then let's go for Fleshbag Marauder dying. That's a bunch more Aristocrat effects. And actually we can just go for Massacre Girl this turn, can't we? Yeah, so let's go for Massacre Girl. Alright, and that is quite the stack, so let's just hammer away at these. Okay, and there we go. I've probably edited in a message by now, but if my voice is sounding very, very low and ASMR-ish, then it's because it's quite late at night when I'm recording this, and my partner is in the other room sleeping, so hopefully she cannot hear me, but that is why my voice has gone pretty low for most of this game. I will probably just up the audio of my voice in editing, but I'll still sound like I am attempting to be all sensual and ASMR-y. But that's not what I'm aiming for. I'm just trying to keep my voice down because it's quite late at night. Apologies for the opponent for scooping early, but there's not a whole lot I can do about it. The other two players were great sports and paid close attention to the fact that I didn't want any early scoopers. We had a fan of the channel in Oladel, who stuck it out to the bitter end, along with Sedris, the Traitor King. So a big thank you to the two of you for doing that. And we got to show off exactly what we want to do with Massacre Girl. Also, nearly got a limit break off with Liliana Dreadhorde General. Yeah, if you were debating whether or not she is a good planeswalker, she is. Hope you all enjoyed this game anyway. That was Massacre Girl versus 3 other commanders. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching this ASMR video.